Have you been looking for a way to stay focused on your goals and grow your MSP? Accountability groups from RocketMSP can help. We offer weekly accountability sessions that meet online with a group of your peers. Your success begins with accountability. Go to www.rocketmsp.io to join your accountability group today. Good morning or afternoon or night, depending on where you are. Welcome to another episode of the Rocket MSP podcast. I'm Steve Taylor, your host, and today I'm joined by Raffaele and Brett. Raffaele, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. If for those of you that don't remember, these guys are from Aadya Security. I think I said it right.
You did. Yep.
Excellent. So, welcome back. Thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us back. We had fun last time, you and I. So let's do it
Absolutely.
again.
So, can we kind of like recap briefly what Aadya Security is for the people that didn't watch the last one?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Aadya was founded 2 years ago. We are headquartered in Detroit, Michigan, but available in all of North America. The goal, based on my background, is 20 years of cybersecurity experience. So I've been at McAfee for 11 years, then went to FireEye and departed Duo after the Cisco acquisition. The thing that you see in this industry is that there are amazing point products out there. And 95% of them are all geared towards the enterprise. And that's fine. But where we're seeing a huge market opportunity is in small and medium-sized businesses where they can't afford to hire a full security team. And they're not going to go out and spend $50,000 to hundreds of $1,000s for one point product that they personally would have to maintain or outsource. So we decided to bring on 13 design partners at the beginning of our journey, and we supported them manually as their cybersecurity team. They got the benefit of having a good security posture. We got to understand what was really going on in their world, and them not being technical was fine. But we were able to see what type of vulnerabilities they were getting, what type of phishing attacks they were getting. And again, nothing surprising. It's definitely still phishing is the number one item in the space that we see. We do know that the SMB space is probably the most lucrative market right now for anyone that wants to steal data or even revenue, because they do have very valuable data, or they have amazing relationships with those enterprise companies, which is where the revenue is tied. And those companies now are demanding that they have the same security posture as them. So we see this in a lot of different companies that are outside services. So law firms, marketing companies, facilities, all of those small businesses that are important to, obviously, everyone globally, but also for those companies that are much larger and need to scale. Is where we're seeing the biggest opportunity. Because of my background, we looked at two different lenses. What is the right approach with these customers? And we are 100% laser focused on partnering with the channel. And that is with MSPs and different types of resellers, because we know that they are the first line that these customers go to for help, which is great. And we created that channel program similar to the one when I was at McAfee. So we really want to enable our channel partners. We want to make sure that they make a lot of money, and we want to make sure that their customers are happy.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. For those of you that want to learn more about the background, the company, compliance and all the little features and just hear about it, watch the one from, gosh, has it been 2 months now?
It has. It's like
Oh
going
my
on.
goodness. Man, so last year felt like a decade. This year feels like it's flying by.
Exactly.
Um, so 2 months ago, we did one of these where it did not include a demo. Today is going to be very heavily focused on doing a demo. So I know that you also brought Brett with you, and Brett right now is just an icon of a little dude, which these things happen, man. We got to roll with it. So
Yeah.
Brett, can you share some background for you, please, sir?
Absolutely. My name is Brett McCary. I've been with Aadya for almost 6 months now. It's been a blast the entire way as we work through, evangelizing appropriate cybersecurity practices in a neglected space. Me personally, I don't come from cybersecurity. I actually come from an education background, but have dove headfirst into the industry and have really appreciated the sense of community that the industry has. And I'm excited to be here and excited to show what Marzo4 can do for our small and medium-sized businesses here in the United States.
Very cool. So, what do you have in store for us this morning, gentlemen?
Well, I think the first thing is to remember the lens we all need to look through is that of a small
Mm-hmm.
business. So if we apply the enterprise lens or the security onion that came up on the last video, those are all appropriate, but that's for the enterprise. This design that you're seeing is specifically for small and medium-sized customers. It is intended to be a lens of usability that they want to use it and it doesn't feel like cybersecurity. That is what we learn from our design partners. So that's kind of our ask of everyone is just look through that lens. Definitely ask questions. We're ready to answer any questions as candidly or be as transparent as last time. And we'll walk through each of the pillars. So the main point of this design is that small businesses will never have a security team member, and that's okay. Judy does all of the heavy lifting. She is AI, she's machine learning, and she's connected behind the scene in Marzo4 to do all the things that a cybersecurity analyst would do at those larger organizations. She also empowers our partners. So our partners can be confident that they're getting the right information and that the customers that they support are getting that level of real-time updates if there are any threats that need to be remediated. So Brett's going to kick off with kind of how a user would log in. They only log in once, and Judy does that immediate validation of the device and IP address, and then he'll walk through each of the different pillars.
And I just got to say, why didn't you name Judy Sky? Because that would have been the perfect to let people know that the machines are rising.
Because Judy's much nicer, and
Okay.
when she takes over the world, then it'll just feel natural. Yeah, Sky seems too abrupt at the start.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. Judy will take over the world.
There you go.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
here we go. As you can see, our password vault lives on the desktop. This is what the login portal will look like on the front end. We do have the opportunity for switching users. So in the event that we're in an environment where shared machines are being used, users know that their information can follow them securely, and Judy will have their back, each time they go in and out of different machines. Us being a security company, I've already gone ahead and typed in my master password. That way we don't have anyone out there, trying to pick on the keystrokes that I'm typing in. But what we've done is we've given these frontline users the opportunity to only have to remember one master password for all of their cloud-based accounts. So I've already plugged that in. Judy verifies I am who I am. It pushes me through. Now, our password vault comes preloaded with two groups, the first being a corporate group and then a private group. So we do give users the opportunity to organize their user accounts based on the grouping that they would like. You can add groups right here. I'll create one for the fun of it. We'll call it RocketMSP. And at which point my group is created. From here, anytime I want to add a login, all I have to do is add my login right here. I can create a title for that login. I'll have to plug in the appropriate username, the appropriate password, and then the exact login URL. Now, once that information's in there, Judy will remember it, grab it, and anytime I want to access it, all I have to do is click on that title and it pushes me through. We'll dive into that single sign-on piece here shortly, but I do want to keep going with the password manager while we're in here. We have included a password generator, the opportunity to create passwords ranging from 16 to 64 characters. You can include numbers and symbols. You cannot include numbers and symbols if you so please. And we have given the chance to copy to a clipboard for quick use. Furthermore, Judy can also audit passwords. So what she will do is she will scan your passwords, and she'll notice that you might have something that you have to work on. Obviously, this one is considered a weak password, so I'll have to take a look at it. This one was added this morning. I pride myself, again, working for a security company. Typically, this comes back as no pings, but I'll take a look at it after this. We also have the opportunity for users to import and export pre-saved logs from either a LastPass or a 1Password. That way, if they already have a file set up, they don't have to worry about going through and adding hundreds of passwords again. And in the event of you leaving, you can export those files as well. And I'd like to take a look at the single sign-on piece. Now, what we've done is, because we've had this information stored, we can just quickly go into the browser. You'll notice that Judy picks up on the appropriate text fields, plugs in the information, and pushes me through. So again, lifting that burden of remembering those keys, taking the responsibility off of the frontline user, and allowing them to go through their day seamlessly without having to worry about remembering appropriate usernames and passwords. Now, once in the browser, that password vault also follows you for quick access. You'll notice that the groups follow you as well, all of my logins. It lives in the browser right here. So again, those passwords follow you. The anti-phishing piece, you'll notice, is right here. So since I've started today, it's had about 11,000 links scanned, 16 blocked sites. Now, in the event of a potentially phishing opportunity coming through, Judy will pick it up. And if I was to click on that site, Judy will give the user a moment in time hesitation like so. And usually this warning is enough for that user to realize, I'm in a situation that I don't feel comfortable with anymore. I don't want to be the person that brings cybersecurity awareness to my office next week. So I'm simply going to go back because I don't like the direction that this is going. Now, that being said, we do know that sometimes businesses might not have their websites configured appropriately. In the event that the user trusts that website, they can simply quick click through. Judy will whitelist that website for further use and then continue to scan once they're on the other side. The other piece that I'd like to introduce you to is Judy. We keep talking about her, how she's going to take over the world. She lives in your toolbar. She can interact as if she was like a Siri. So you can say, hey, Judy, and she'll be pulled up. But because we're in a sharing environment, I don't want to do that just yet. But she can interact just like a Siri. She has about 700 knowledge-based articles ranging from, what is my security score? We'll get into that piece here shortly once we're in the dashboard, or things like
So you typed in, how do I take a screenshot on a Mac?
I did, and
it's a demo environment. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah. We're in a demo environment, so some of the things might click off a little bit. But what she would do is she would pull up a knowledge-based article that we've preloaded, to where it'll show you, in order to take a screenshot on a Mac, all you have to do is press Command-Shift-3, and it'll go forward from there.
Okay. Now, just to clarify, so I can tell that you're operating on a Mac right now, but you also have designed Aadya Security, Marzo4, Judy, all of this to run on PC as well.
Correct.
We have it running on Windows 10 Pro.
Okay.
We're not supporting home. So just want to go ahead and throw, as we talked about last time, be transparent. Nothing wrong with home, but if we're looking at businesses, home has a lot of opportunities to improve. So
Sure.
we support Windows 10 Pro, any of the business editions and up.
So you're not even going to bother with 7, 8?
No.
None of
I
those.
mean, Microsoft is rolling those off. So we follow the provider of the different OS or systems. Whatever, it's usually 2 to 3 back.
Got it. Okay.
The next piece I'd like to take you to is the dashboard side of things. Again, two perspectives from this lens, one being that of the frontline user, the other being that of the champion. Again, this is a demo environment, so not everything is going to be up to date. What you'll notice right here is our security score. That security score is going to be based on 4 factors: whether or not your disk is encrypted, whether or not your auto logging is enabled, whether or not your auto update is enabled, and whether or not your firewall is on. If this wasn't a demo environment, on my side, it would look like 100 because I have all of those features clicked on at this point. But what it does for those frontline users is in the event that they log in and see a 75, they'll know immediately that something is wrong, at which point they escalate and make sure that everything is taken care of. From this champion dashboard, we have our 2 tiles right here. The first one being Judy's Team Blue. That is our automated threat detection and remediation. I'll let Raffaele cover that here shortly. And then our compliance mapping. This is where frontline users, SMB owners, will be able to quickly fire up a framework for their environment. Judy will run a scan, auto-populate it based on what she's seeing, and then have holes saying, these are the pieces of SOC 2 that you need to address from here on. So that compliance piece is going to be huge because we know how complicated that can be for our small and medium-sized businesses. So giving them that helping hand to build a foundation and let them go forward, almost providing a roadmap and a flashlight on a foggy day.
And the compliance mapping, I'll have a lot of questions about when we go over that.
Sounds good. And then from the champion view, this is where the champion or the administrator will have view of their environment. They'll be able to see the different users, the number of devices that are on, the number of apps that they're running, their role in the environment, and whether or not there are any alerts that need to be addressed. Those alerts may come in the event of maybe something coming up on our EDR scan. Our EDR right now, starting next week, will be an antivirus scan that runs on the front end, sets a baseline, and then turns off, and then scans any new files that enter the environment. Our full-blown next-gen EDR, which we like to compare to like a mid-level CrowdStrike, is expected to go live in the middle of May.
Very nice.
And the cool part about this is that this is the information Judy's using when you log in. So if Melissa Champion was logging in, like Brett mentioned, she validates it's a registered device. She validates that it's the IP address, and then she grabs the password and logs you in. That's the same thing that an enterprise company gets, which is now down in the space that we're all working within for small businesses. The cool part is if it's not, then she won't let you log in. Yates Network asked if we support Linux. Not yet. We do support Firefox and Chrome for now, but it is on our roadmap for later this year.
Very nice.
The last little piece that I'd like to show is kind of one of my favorite tricks for adding new logins to our password vault. Let me pull over the screen here. I'll demonstrate it via Spotify so everyone can see that I'm a voracious listener of punk rock and history podcasts. But what we'll see here is how anytime it logs into a new website for the first time, Judy will recognize that and say, hey, do you want me to save this for you? So let me take some time here.
Now, I thought I saw Spotify in your list in the password vault already.
That's actually okay. You can have multiple logins for different sites, and when you do, Judy will pop up and ask you which one you want to use to log in.
Nice.
And we may have seen it because I have it in my trash.
But that's okay.
It's just my standard one that I like to run with. But we'll log in here, and you'll see that it grabs it, recognizes it, and then gives me the opportunity to save it to a particular category. Since we're doing RocketMSP, I'll save it in my RocketMSP category.
Now, what if you don't have that window open?
You don't have it open. It'll, as long as you're logged in, it'll grab it. Sorry,
Okay.
Brett, go ahead.
You're okay. Yeah, I was going to say, just next time you log into the password manager, it'll be one of the first boxes that pops up, and grabbing any new type of login. And that goes for multiple logins as well. So we've given users the opportunity to either add it, manually this way. They can just go about their day and grab the logins as they log in through the browser, or they can preload them using the import-export options.
Now, with this being like a single sign-on, I'm going to call it a homepage that takes over your browser's homepage.
Mm-hmm.
I have roughly 1,500 passwords in my LastPass vault, and I feel like that could get it could become overwhelming, especially with how big these boxes are. Like, it's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but if I can only see 9 or 12 at a time, what can I do to quickly? I don't want to have to scroll through 1,500 list items and find something.
You don't have to. There's a favorite area. So Judy starts to learn what are your most used platforms, and she promotes those for you in order. You can also, if you go again, you can drag and drop and create different categories so that you would see them at the top like Brett has. So you might say, well, these 400 are RocketMSP logins. So Judy, move all of those over there. These others are my private ones that I tied to my Facebook and personal email address. And then these are more of my corporate ones. But you can have, we have some customers that have 30 to 40 different categories. It's similar to what you guys experienced in those other password vaults, where each vault is its own, right? The cool part is you don't really need to worry about the login piece, but yes, you can prioritize them in a way that they show up for ease of use. And then the favorites, as she learns which ones you go to the most, will always pop up in that additional drop down that Brett was showing.
And is there a search function in here?
There is. On the password vault, you can do a search. The search in the browser extension is coming.
Okay. So again, it's meant to be enterprise-grade security without really feeling like enterprise-grade security. The password vault is the bells and whistles on the front end for those frontline users to make their day easier while also lifting the responsibility of best practices. Myself, as a former teacher, I can't tell you how many times I had technology thrown at me that I wasn't either properly trained up on or was seen as a hindrance to my day. I can't tell you how many licenses were probably in my name as a teacher, and plenty of other teachers as well that weren't being used appropriately. Marzo4 was designed to not feel like you have to learn a new technology. All you have to do as a user is remember that one password. You enter it on a daily basis, and then once you're in there, Judy takes care of everything else for you. All the EDR, the anti-phishing, all of that is running in the background. So those frontline users you don't necessarily have to get the buy-in. All you have to do is ask them to remember that one password, and they have some of the best practices in the world following them throughout their day.
Nice.
And then as we mentioned, go ahead, Brett.
No, go ahead, Raphael.
As we mentioned, mobile is coming out. It's in its final stages of QA. It will be supported on the iPhone and Android. In that model, just think of it the same way. You have your vault. If you want, you can click through. She autofills for you. It takes you into any of your websites. And for she shows you your security score. In the future, that'll be the method that she starts to communicate with users. If there's an issue, right now it's on the desktop agent that you saw. And then lastly, because I know that came up a lot, you said, Steve, we do support two-factor. So obviously we promote Duo because they are the industry standard, and I'm a little partial to them. But two-factor does work with this as you're logging in, so that those partners that asked last time, it does support that.
Excellent.
Raffaele, do you want to take over for the threat detection and remediation piece now?
Absolutely. So the way we set up the threat and automated remediation is really for the partner. Think of it this way. Your customer that's 10, 20, 30 employees is not going to log into a SIM dashboard and look to see what type of vulnerabilities are going on. They're relying on you as the partner to do that. Our SOC team is the one that actually monitors the dashboard. And as a let me see if I can get this right. Steve warned me and I didn't listen. I'm sorry, Steve. Can you see my screen now?
I see it here, yes.
Okay. So this is your view. This is obviously a demo environment, but you as a partner would be able to see all of your customers in this view, the same way that Aadya sees all of our potential customers that are direct. But regardless of which path they come through here, our SOC team is monitoring 24/7. We're looking for violations. We're looking for threats. We're looking for anything that is out of the ordinary. The levels that they get to select with you as a partner is a level 1, which means that we just connect to Marzo4 and their email and a firewall. And that gives them a whole nother level of protection as small business owners that they've never seen before in this space, and all of you should be excited about selling. You then go from there in our pricing model to the highest level, which is everything in the kitchen sink, so to speak. They can connect their servers, their CRM, ERP, anything that could be a threat would come into this SIM tool and give you the visibility that you're looking for. You can go down to users and actually, if you wanted to, click on the menu here. You can click on users. You can create different watch lists as a partner. I don't know why this is throwing up with this demo area, but there's different ways of creating different rule sets that either you can do for all of your customers or our Judy's Blue team can jump in and help you. So this is what's great about the SIM tool. Behind the scenes, if there are things that can be remediated, then it will push it through and remediate it at the server level, at the endpoint, or even send notifications to the partner and us so that we can jump on a call if it's something that seems to be an attack.
Now, real quick, I just want to roll back for a moment. You mentioned Judy's Blue Team. So there are companies that specialize in solely doing like cybersecurity and threat remediation and things like that. And very often they use the term MSSP, Managed Security Services Provider. And so I just want to make sure everyone knows that when it comes to security, there's red teams and blue teams. Right. The red team, like a lot of times, a security company will have both teams, right? They'll have a red team and a blue team. The blue team, their main job is to find issues and resolve them so that way the bad guys can't get in. The red team, their job is to try to find issues and see how far they can take it to kind of like weasel their way in, and then the two teams work together and can then tell the IT head or the CEO or whoever wants the information, hey, this is how far we got, and these are the steps we recommend you take to prevent or to remediate or mitigate or whatever term they want to use, right?
Yeah.
So,
So Judy's blue team is a mix of both team
yes.
members. Last time you asked me why then it wasn't purple, if you don't remember.
I do.
And all of our colors are blue and Judy's blue. So yes, that blue team is a mix of those two types of teams combined into one. Here's the cool part. You as partners, we already have partners that set the guidelines of how this works. So if you're an MSSP, you may say, well, I don't want Judy's blue team engaging with the customer. I want you guys to notify us. We do have a red team and we'll jump in, and that's where we add our services. Not a problem. We would set up your view in here that way. Doesn't mean we won't notify ourselves, but it means then we would call you, the partner, and say, there's a major issue going on at this company that is yours. How do you want to proceed? So we're very cautious in our engagement with customers and let the partners, whether they're an MSP or an MSSP, drive the matrix of how we all work together. And I'm still not turning it to purple, Steve. So just don't even ask.
So I just want to rewind for a minute. So first, Judy's taking over the world, and now we've got the Matrix.
Yeah, we have the Matrix. And I got Star Wars behind me for those of us
that are, goodness.
We're excited about my Star Wars stuff last time. So but that's why
a great collection.
That's what we really wanted to be careful about, and we pull from all of our expertise on our teams from other cybersecurity companies that we've been at, is that we're really enabling the channel partner. And yes, we want those users to have an amazing experience, but it doesn't feel like cybersecurity because they're tired of cybersecurity. And it's okay because we've all beaten people over the head or suggested that the sky is falling, and it might be. But when you're a front-end finance person and an accounting department, last thing you're worrying about during tax season is security. You're worried about getting all your tax forms in by the deadline, right? This allows them to not have to worry about the 500 logins that they're using, and Judy does the monitoring for them and enables the partner to be behind the scenes and take on anything that they want to take on.
All right. Now, that last screen that you showed us, that screen is very interesting to me because honestly, because I've never seen anything like it in any of the systems that I've used. So are you able to dive a little deeper into that screen for me for a moment?
I can. Let me see. It's a demo environment, so God bless it.
Does it even have any threats in it right now?
Probably not. Let me double check. Cancel. Let me change some of the views and see what we got in here for you guys.
Sure, no problem. And then while he does that, Brett, what is your role there, Brett?
So my role here is on the sales side. I'm working with channel partners to kind of grow our channel program and really link arms with again servicing a neglected space. The relationship is completely what the partner wants to make it. If we need to talk only when we have business, I'm all for that. If we need to check in on a daily basis and even just talk about Julian Edelman's retirement, I'm fine with that too. We're at a point where we can really change kind of how we approach our customers. And one of the things that we're noticing with channel partners is, and where we're opening their eyes is, if you want me to cold call with you, I'll cold call with you. And it's interesting to see the type of responses that you get on cold calls when it's, hey, this is John and I got Brett on the line too. Having two people on the line like that, it changes the perspective of that other user. And you'd be shocked at how much warmer those calls get just by having two people on the line like that.
See, I don't know. I think if I picked up the phone and I'm immediately in a conference call with two other guys, I feel like I'm getting ganged up on.
You don't have to.
I'm sure I'm the minority in this situation, but I'm also just keep your distance, guy. Like,
well, outside of that, the other thing that we're doing is we really don't believe in lead ownership here. My role is to understand the line card of our partners. What's their industry, what's their vertical, what's their sweet spot, and anything that comes directly to us, if that matches up with a particular partner, we're going to try and get them introduced as soon as possible, because we understand that the SMB space, I compare it to a pool. It's a huge pool that we're all jumping into, and there's plenty of room to splash around without getting on each other's nerves. So we can really link arms and help each other out, and just continue to bring, like we keep saying, enterprise grade security to an environment that lacks typically the budget, the energy, the resources to appropriately button themselves up.
okay.
So I'm sharing the screen. It doesn't look like there's a lot of data in here, but you can see that like your top threats, you can check that by, if you decide that, let's say a partner, you want to drive this view with us, you would get this view. You can check your customers in the last hour, days, or last year and be able to generate a report. That report could be shared with that customer so that you can show the value of what's been remediated by Judy and the cross-functional teams. You'll see there's different rule sets that are out of the box, but also set up so that if someone does go in and delete a high volume of things out of Google, it notifies to double check and make sure it's not an attack. You have different violation times that can be set up on the rule sets. I'll click through to this area while you guys were talking. You can see all the companies and categorize them by either users or and see at that level where they may have had a vulnerability or a potential breach. You can categorize them within the company by organization and even put different rule sets in. We know that marketing and sales predominantly have a higher percentage of potential phishing or are engaging with different customers that they might get documents that could be at a higher risk. You obviously can, if you have an engineering team, could have different rule sets for them because they are playing out in the real world and do want some of their things turned off. So there's ways of categorizing this even down to the user level and is available in the report. Because there's not much data in here, I mean, it's just the high-end view, but there's a world of different things that can be done that's not set up in this demo site, which I should have done. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
But our team can do it for you.
I would love to see what this looks like when something happens too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing here is step one, we always tell customers, we connect to their Gmail or Microsoft email. We do not support Outlook on-prem at this time. So everything is in the cloud. But that starts for a partner, especially. That's where the streamline of this is amazing. So once you connect to that email, it imports all of the users for you. So you don't have to ask them for their logins and, their email addresses or usernames, and it starts to categorize it for you. At that time, you can start to even see if there are users in their email system that shouldn't be there, which we've already seen with some customers. So you're immediately, as a partner, adding this view into their world where you can see that maybe someone left a company, but their email address is still live, and something's happening there because there's activity and there shouldn't be. So it really creates that value that partners want to add to their customers. And then the customers are happy because, again, you can export any of these into a report and share it with them.
Got it. And I just want to clarify. So earlier you said you don't work with Outlook on-prem. What he's saying, if I believe what he's saying is that, there's Exchange Server and then there's the, hosted Exchange, if you will, with the Microsoft 365. Right. So they probably definitely don't do anything with a local Exchange because they work with Microsoft 365. But
That's
even
correct.
if you're using Microsoft 365, their integration only works at the browser level of the Outlook web app. It does not work with Outlook on the desktop, even if it's connected to 365.
That is correct. And that's
Okay.
where, for level one, you would stay at the browser level. If you want to go to that server level, that is where you start to go into level three. And it would be more of an IT project and likely some customization to get those logs to pull in from the server level.
Got it. And and that's exactly what it is. It's additional logging that you're bringing into the SIM
Mhm.
for Judy and also your SOC Blue team to review
Right.
and make sure that there are no weird things happening that need to be correlated.
Correct.
And because of that, there's a reason why that's not included in level one, because level one is a more cost-effective solution for people that just want to dip their toes in and have the basement of cybersecurity that everyone should have, right? And
That's
then,
correct.
there's a level two and a level three. Well, level three is going to cost more because simply there's more labor involved in what's going on with level three.
Absolutely. And usually you see level three with employee size of over 500 employees. And they do have
Okay.
an IT person that will work with the partner and then with us behind the scenes to get those items set up. But yeah, that's correct.
So for the people that are on level one or maybe even level two, the the thing that we would want to do as the MSP, as the partner, would be to encourage our clients to be using Outlook web app
Mhm.
because that's the more secure platform. And is Outlook web app actually more secure than Outlook for desktop these days without a DEA involved?
I don't know if here's the thing. It's such a heavy lift on the organization to have Outlook on-prem. I used to manage that team at at McAfee. It's a heavy, heavy lift. The way Microsoft is redesigned, the web version can still sit on top of a on-prem Outlook, and it's actually has more features even for the users.
It
So
really
I don't know if
does.
it's more secure. I think it's just a different design that catches up with the times. It's kind of like almost
Yeah,
like on-prem CRM. It's so dated now. Why would you have
that's a
something
really good point.
staying on-prem?
And
I think email exchange and all emails should be in the cloud, and that is
mhm,
the best path forward. Just like CRM and ERP, if your financial system can be in the cloud, why can't your email? So
right.
I think it's more about usability and less of a burden on an IT team than it's secure or not, because you can put multiple layers of security in front of that Outlook server, and that
Mhm.
is where you start to see that enterprise level approach versus what the small businesses are doing, and they are 90% in the cloud. That's the benefit of what Marzo4 brings forward, and the benefit to all your partners.
And I want to say this: how many times have you MSPs run into that email hoarder where they've got the 40 gig PST or OST, and they don't understand why Outlook keeps crashing or keeps doing weird things, and it's all because of the size of that database. As
Right.
soon as they just start using the OWA client, everything's fine because their web interface is actually designed to just work with
Right.
that stuff because it's all in a browser. You don't have to deal with caching all that email on the local hard drive.
And
And
yeah, you save a lot of money.
yeah, I mean, and you should be encouraging your clients to not store things on their computer for what should be obvious reasons at this point these days.
So did you want to? Oh wait, I'm not allowed to
Yeah.
drive. You are. I learned that last time. So where do you want to go next?
No, it's okay. So, all right. All right. Is it possible for me to see like how Judy works? Like if you do something dumb and you open up an attachment and try
Well,
to get a
Brett showed
virus.
you that. Yeah, Brett showed you that message that came up that says "Do not click through." There's no real way to
Yes.
show what's happening behind the scenes.
Got it.
But
So that doesn't even bother showing up in the sim because it prevented him, and there's
they didn't
nothing
click
to
through. Right.
report.
They didn't
Okay.
click through. So there's nothing to report. And then behind the scenes, the engine that our engineering team has built with Judy, she's the traffic cop. So if you did click through, the first level of protection is to monitor the endpoint and watch if the CPU starts to spike, or if something's trying to download, then she quarantines it. At the same time, yes, that would go, if they're leveraging our threat and automated remediation, that would go into the SIM tool and start to notify our blue team. And then we could engage with the partner depending on how they want to engage. But we intentionally left this front end to look easy
Right.
and not like cybersecurity. So as a partner, you would go into the SIM tool and see things if they did decide to click through. But that moment Brett showed you, do not click through, because he didn't. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
It's just going to go in the anti-phishing link area that dropped down, and really show them that she blocked it.
Okay. Now, I didn't actually pay attention to what he clicked on. Was that a real thing or just
It was a real phishing link that we've approved for him to click on in the demo. And it basically,
got it?
we know it's a phishing link. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But even if it was embedded in an email, Judy, again, if it's in the cloud, Judy will scan it and say, wait a minute, don't click through. Or she'll block anything that's trying to download.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think
All
the thing for partners that might be thinking about, well, what type of customers they should work with. Again, we see anyone under 100 employees immediately fall in love with this because they don't view it as cybersecurity. We also see in all employee sizes that verticals like law firm, accounting companies, marketing companies, anyone that might support an enterprise or a government agency that's a small business, they're your target market. We're seeing that over and over again with different partners that have already signed on, where they're successfully booking business because they can discuss that data point of, well, who are you? Where's your revenue tied to? That's the question we guide our partners to ask. And if they say, oh, Marriott or University of Michigan, or insert a name that's a big brand name, that is the customer that you want to start talking through and showing Marzo4. They immediately get it because they are seeing it on the RFPs. That's the game changer. For those of you that maybe don't sell into SMB, the game changer is those larger organizations are putting it now on the RFP for them to have the same security posture as their security team. And that's where you as a partner can make a lot of money, and Marzo4 checks all the boxes for that remediation.
Okay. So I want to talk about pricing for a minute here, because I'm sure everybody's like dying to. They're all foaming at the mouth, right?
Awesome.
So they're just waiting for Judy to take over and tell them what they need to do.
We have no problem with that.
So all right, let's. I'm going to give you guys a few scenarios. So the first one is very small, one person company that they do. I wouldn't even call them a CPA. They just do taxes. Okay. They don't even need cybersecurity, right? Because nobody's coming after them.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. I'm hoping that's sarcasm. Yeah, they have all of the social security numbers, all of your tax information, and they're probably putting it on a shared drive that maybe they share with consultants, or they're emailing attachments to their customers. And so yes, they do need security. They just don't want to deal with it, is what we find in that scenario.
So how does it work? We install Judy on their computer and we get them all set up in the back end of Marzo4. What does it cost us, the MSP, and what do you recommend we sell it for?
Well, it's up to you what you sell it for. That's not our part
Okay.
of the business. So I'll be very candid about that. We know there are partners that embed the cost into other services and might charge a
Hmm.
monthly fee for everything in the kitchen sink. So
Sure.
what I will say is our list price online is three levels. It's $12 for level one, which
Hmm.
again, the only area that is differentiator is threat and automated remediation. Level two, you start to see the adding of a switch and potential CRM, which is $19, and then $24 is for that one, that per user is for everything in the kitchen sink on the threat and automated remediation. All of the other pillars that you saw, including Judy, are still enterprise grade. There's no watered down version, and it is per user, not per device. So
Okay.
if Steve has 20 devices, we don't care. It's attached to Steve's email address, and that is one user in our world and what you would charge. Now, if you talk about what a partner would agree to with us, there are three levels. So there's a level one, which is your referral partner. They just want to close the deal and move on. So
Hmm.
they close the customer, send us the order, we do the support, and they get a 20% discount. What they charge the customer is up to them off of the list price. Then there's a level two, which is, okay, I'm going to do the billing. I want you to train my sales team, and I want you to train our CS team to do the support. That is a 30% discount off of the list price. And that model, we bill you 30 days after the customer has been onboarded and show you the number of tenants that you've enabled and the number of users, and bill you that way for the amount that that is owed. So the two is either, it really is about how you want to work with us. Level one, again, straight referral. Level two, you're going to take on a lot of the ownership with the customer. In both models, though, we are indifferent about, we don't charge a minimum fee, we don't charge for training, and we don't charge for co-branding. So we will push you as a partner out through all of our social media outlets. We will do campaigns with you. Our marketing team will even do roundtables where you invite customers and we can do a demo like this. And like Brett said, you can either drive or we can be there to drive with you. So that's kind of the two different levels. We've had partners, even some from this last call, ask, well, what about a volume discount? And we do have a level three in that model. We would need to understand what your projected forecast is, how many of your customers you intend to start moving over each of the months and into the year. And we can do what other MSP programs do, which is you purchase the licenses up front, and then you start to pull them down as needed for each of the months, and enabling the customer and go through that billing. So those are really the three levels. We've updated our one pager that explains all of this in great detail, and we can make sure you have it, or Brett, if anyone wants to contact Brett from this call, he can get that over to you and explain. But that's the high level of how it works. But we don't set the pricing. And we are starting to get multiple distributors now that want to sell our product as well. And so in that model, if you're a partner that works with a distributor, then we can either still work with you directly or work with the distributor of your choice to ensure that, again, you're enabled in the right way within those three different levels.
So, just because I'm all about clarification.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just look at, I'll call it level one of the product of Judy. So you said that's $12 a month per user. And level one of the partner program, that one you guys do the billing, right?
We do. We do the billing,
Okay.
and we will do the support. So you're just selling the platform, which is totally fine. And,
Right.
and you might even say, well, I'm now starting to get more comfortable 3 to 4 months later, so I want to move to level 2 and take on the billing and the support. And we see that revenues coming in and we're all working together. Absolutely.
So now with level one, you said 20% discount, but I think you meant 20% commission, right?
Correct.
Because
yes.
so you're charging the customer the $12 and then you're giving us a check or however you do it
Correct.
of $2.40.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And then the level 2 version of the partner program, same one, $12 a month normally. That one we're being charged by you. You're billing us now,
We're
and
billing
now
you.
we're talking 8 6. What I already forgot, but it's $8.40.
$8.40 is what we charge you per user.
Okay.
And again, whatever you charge the customer is up to you. We've got some that, like I said, wrap it into other costs or just sell that directly.
Now, Yates Networks asked if he can use this for residential clients, and I think the best answer is you can use it for whoever you want, as
Correct.
long as they're running Windows 10
Yes.
and they're running the Pro or Business versions,
Correct.
not the Home version.
Correct.
I suspect it even works on like do they still have Enterprise with volume licensing and all that?
I think they do, but yeah.
Yeah.
It works on the only one, and again, it can work on Home. Here's what I caution everyone. Home has a lot of OEM items that are part of the software that could conflict. So think about it this way, Xbox and all those other things. And honestly, Home is not that safe compared to, the business version. So yes, to Yates Network, you absolutely could use this with residential clients. There's no issue. It just has to be on a Windows system that has the Windows 10 Pro or Business Edition. And then for MacBooks, we do support the M1 chip. We do support Big Sur, and we support the last two OSs that Apple supports. So
Awesome.
you could do that. And yeah, I mean, what he said, yeah, just have them install Pro. It's $59 upgrade or $79, depending where you get it. And
Right.
you explain to them that you're adding that security and that value of protecting them. So yeah, it'll work for residential.
Perfect. And then let's can we see in fact I could probably just do this. I'm going to go to the Aadya Security website,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go to the pricing page, and I'm going to share my screen.
Sure.
And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm less concerned about the price, and I'm more concerned about just seeing the differences between the
levels.
versions.
Yeah. So you want to pull it up? I can explain it. That works.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. I'm adding this to the stream. I'm going to make this browser a little smaller and zoom this stuff in for us. So
you'll see that all of the, whoops, here, it's too big now. If you go a little bit smaller. Yeah, so if you look up above first, you'll see each of the levels include the main pillars. It's all enterprise grade, so there's no watered down version of Judy, single sign-on, password manager, anti-phishing, or endpoint. That's all included, the compliance, and then the virtual CISO, which is coming, where we'll be able to answer questions for you and the customers. It's this bottom box. Now, if you want to screen, that really differentiates on the pricing. And again, it's because of the customer you're approaching. A small company of 1 to 10 employees, the log sources they need are just on Marzo4 on an email client and maybe a firewall at most in their office if they do have an office. So that's what's included with the $12. If they go to the $19 version, again, we're just adding on switches, CRM, ERP. And then on the last level, which is the $24, you start to see we do everything. And they can even have a view into the SIM tool and be able to review the logs or have custom logs built for any on-prem proprietary items.
All right. So it's too good to be true, Raffaele.
Last time, and we've already had some of your partners sign on. It's not. We're just differentiating ourselves. I know you're joking. We're differentiating ourselves because the channel partners should be included in our journey. This is what I experienced at McAfee back in 2005. And we want you to make a lot of money. And we want our users to be happy and feel like they're using something that enables them, but also doesn't feel like cybersecurity. And that's what we're confident of because we are seeing a lot of people signing up through partners and enjoying the platform.
All right. So, um, you also mentioned that there are 3 levels of partner programs. Uh, besides the big difference of who's billing between levels 1 and 2, I'm just going to ignore 3 because I think most of the people watching this right now are probably just not ready for 3.
Yeah, 3 is more of a custom contract. Let's look
Yeah.
at it that way and
Yeah.
just leave it alone. Yeah, and we can work with
So
them and map that out.
So with levels 1 or 2 of partnership, are there any like minimums or prices to join the program or anything like that?
Nope.
So we can join level 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cost us anything to join. There's no minimums. I can literally sell 1 license. And if I'm on level 2, you're just going to bill me $8.40, and that's that. As
Correct.
long as I pay the bill,
Right.
you're going to keep doing. And here's the other cool thing, guys. Can you tell them what happens if a client decides to leave me? Like they end their contract and go to a different MSP?
I'm not understanding the question. I'm sorry. So,
I thought maybe I'm misremembering, but didn't you say that you want to make sure that they have a cybersecurity plan in place and we're not just going to rip out Aadya?
yeah, we're not going to, we'll give them a 30 to 45 day window. We're not going to rip it out. We're a security company. So if they decide they want to leave, we obviously want to talk to you and them and see why. Um, why? Was it a design issue or they just not finding value? Just because? Why not? We're not going to stop them, but we're not
Right,
going to rip it out. That would go against all guiding principles in cybersecurity to put someone at risk just because they want to leave. I'm not cool
right.
with that at all. So I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. And then the
No,
other
it's okay.
thing that you were asking about is, you know, it it is a reoccurring revenue. So that
Hmm.
you're getting a month to month revenue just like us. The reason why we don't put a minimum in year one is we want to enable you. We want to grow with you. Now Brett's going to call you, Steve, and say, well, what's your forecast next month? And if you say, okay, well, I think I have 3 proposals. Okay, awesome. How do we help you close those proposals, right? So it's a
Right,
different way of working with the partners versus it being punitive. It should not be punitive for you to sell our product. So we'll train you, we'll co-brand, and you're right, there's no minimums. Will Brett want to have a monthly forecast call with you and ask what's going on? Yes, that we expect. And then how can we work together to grow your brand?
got it. Okay. So let's talk about. Are there any questions or anything so far? I just
Well,
want to make
Yates wants to
sure.
start on level 1 and then bump to level 2 afterwards. There's no problem with that.
Yeah,
So just
there's not any issues with doing that. And the nice thing is, you don't have to worry about cash flow in order to pay that bill. You can just collect those sweet revenue commission checks, right?
Mhm.
Um, the cool thing about I know Yates in yesterday's Yates said that he's like starting to switch from break fix to MSP. So the cool thing about this is whether you decide to do a per user all you can eat everything's included, or like a per device plus per user, or however you decide to do things, like you can put the Marzo4 product like into your costs, and then figure out what you're going to charge your customers based on your cost. And I recommend, if you're just looking at what you charge and then what it costs you to pay all the bills for the software that you need, like your RMM and your security and all that stuff, you should have like 70% margin. Only 30% of what you're charging should be the costs for all those tools. And that gives you more money to pay all the other stuff that nobody ever thinks about, like rent and electric. And so that's just my recommendation. We had a really cool pricing talk a week or two ago with um, uh, James Vickery from Benchmark 365, Raphael. He's a very cool guy. I'm wondering if there's a way for you to even look at partnering with guys like that. Who Benchmark 365 is like an outsourced help desk, knock, sock type of company. Um, not sure if there's maybe some synergy there that maybe you guys could find ways to work together.
Yeah, if you want to make an introduction, that's fine. I'm always up to meeting new people and learning more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the pricing in this space, you're right. Put it whatever you need in. Also know though that they're a little gun shy and they've been burned before. So that, and not just by, also by like very large companies on point products, right? So I think going in with that caring tone, which I'm sure all of you would, but also know that pricing is limited, or their revenue is limited, especially with the economy it is right now. You should win business, but maybe you're starting your company, stair step and start with a lower cost now and increase it after year one. Is the only thing I would add on there.
So now here, I think I already misunderstood. And so he said he'd likely start at level 1, then bump to level 2. I thought he meant with the partner program, but I think after looking at one of his later messages, I love having all the basics built in for simplicity for the first system. So I think what he actually meant was level 1 of the product and then bumping to level 2.
That's fine.
So
either one works.
So I personally, and I've got to beat up all of my guests, Raphael. So you're no different.
I still love you. Bring it.
Probably. So I find your branding to be very confusing.
We've already heard that. We're working on it. So, but yeah, I'll let you finish that. Just go for it.
So if we look at, the overall, there's Aadya Security, and then there's Marzo4, and then there's Judy. And there's 3 brands, and like how do you market that when you can't have a consistent message because you have to talk about 3 different brand marks, right? So and I get it, if you look at McAfee, they've got all their different products, and it's no different with Marzo4. That's just, we'll call it one of your products, but for right now it's your only product.
Right.
And then also looking at the pricing and then the partner program, both of them are just very generically levels 1, 2, and 3. So when somebody says, I think I just want to start off at level 1 and then later on go to level 2, we can have miscommunication. Are we talking about the partner program or the product?
Right.
So the one thing I've learned about branding is it's just so critical to be consistent with branding, and like you use the same logo everywhere. Like on every podcast, I've got this white logo up here in the corner, and the podcast uses the same font and the same styling as the RocketMSP logo itself. Just dumb things like that. And I know that you guys are working on it, but I figured we might as well talk about the elephant in the room since we're all here, right? Thoughts?
I'm just waiting. I didn't want to interrupt. Yes, Aadya is going to stay our company name. That's not changing because I told you last time it has a very specific meaning. What we're seeing is Judy is what's resonating. And so we are looking at removing Marzo4 as a product name. All companies have that 3-tiered level, but I think we may have looked at the wrong name. Most companies have an animal, or falcon, or or a car, or something that people just generally understand as a differentiator. I think we went too far over into the let's be cool and come up with a name. So Melissa is working hard. She took your feedback and some other partners, and we're going to change all of that here in the next 30 to 60 days. So for now, I would just say partners should say Judy, because she is everything that is in our solution. And
I agree with that.
When it comes to partner levels, this is what I hesitated. I've worked at companies where it's platinum, gold, and silver, and all those other things. I think it sounds as if someone's better than the other. And so that's why we just did levels, right? I think partners that are gold are just important as platinum. And I hated that at all the companies I worked with, where you create this ivory tower in the channel organization. So here's my thought to you guys. If you guys have a cool thing that you want our program levels to be named, let us know. Appropriate. I know some of you are kidders. But I just didn't want to create a hierarchy. I don't like that in life in general. And that's why we stayed away from those traditional names for each of the resellers.
Levels. And I could agree with that. And I would say, honestly, even if you just went at the most basic level and changed it to be like level A, B, and C, that way that at least the partner program and the product levels are differentiated. Correct. One's numbers, one's letters. Right. But I would even say that the first one I wouldn't call level 1 because it still feels like there's a hierarchy, levels 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. I feel like that one should be called the referral program. The next one should be called the reseller program. And then the third one would be like the custom program or something like that. That way people don't get that there you have to get into this one before you can move into that one. And right. That would be my recommendation. But
yeah, I'll get it back to Melissa, and we'll see if she turns on you and I after she thought she really liked us. But on all the work you're trying to generate for her. I'm kidding. No,
I'm just a guy that does podcasts, man.
No, we appreciate your feedback. I'm transparent on. I don't like hierarchies. It just in all parts of life.
Yeah.
I hate them. So that was the thought on the partner levels. But yeah, we are working on that, and looks like Yates agrees Judy is the path forward, and that's what we're working on. So.
I agree with that too. Now, I said earlier I want to talk about this compliance stuff.
Okay.
So, for like the smaller MSPs, I gotta say, it's really scary for them to be like, I want to go work with a doctor's office. Like, HIPAA, what? Mm-hmm. Like, we have no idea what HIPAA. Like, okay, so what how does this work?
Yeah, so you would just click through in the dashboard. Again, our demo environment's not going to show you it, but basically think of it this way. When you go for a HIPAA audit or PCI or SOC 1, SOC 2, GDPR, right? You have to go through a formal audit, either internally or you bring in auditors, depending on how big you are or what type of, if you're a service provider versus actually the driver of that compliance. So for HIPAA as an example, right, we have to protect the patient's data, right? Mm-hmm. And so you would log into our dashboard, you would select HIPAA, and then it shows you all the line item details that you as a company have to walk through and make sure that you show how you're compliant. And that could be anything from everything that's in Judy for login and who touches the data to what's that finance person doing on the back end with all of the checks and the invoices, right? So you're almost like microscopically looking across your company. Our dashboard drives you through that in the same format as an auditor and as the industry standard. In each of those compliance framework, some of it's technical, some of it's just answering with the customer. Once you've done that, it'll show you the percentages of where you are to completion. Your goal is to get over 85%. And then at that time, you can export the report and share it with the medical organization that you're working with and show them how you're getting towards 100% to win the business. So that's what these compliance frameworks are doing in our dashboard for the big main ones that I've described, and empowers you as a partner to help your customer fill it out where they have technology misses. So let's say an example, it's required in there that you have a firewall. Well, that's not us, which is fine. You would go out and get that firewall for the customer and then check the box in there that you've installed it with the product that's been purchased. And that remediates that line item.
Okay. So with that, so let's just stick on HIPAA for making it easy. Is it only showing me, like, if it were to go through that like audit checklist, so to speak, is it only showing me things that I can deal with as the IT person, or is it also going to show me things that have no relation to the computers or networks or anything that I touch whatsoever?
All. It's the lens of the customer. So think of it this way: you walk into a company that says, "Well, we're trying to win this hospital contract," and they're saying we have to be HIPAA compliant. It's about the company when you say HIPAA compliance, which is what the framework is set up as, not just the IT piece. The IT piece is a chunk of it, so is the security. The beauty is, as a partner, you go log in, you fill in the IT and the security stuff for them. Their attorney, their accounting person, even their owner of the company would fill in all the other information. And it's like a questionnaire and could require some supported documents.
And so you might even have on that where, um, like when a patient walks in and fills out their name to check in, is it asking them to fill out their full first and last name, or is it only asking for one piece of it? So that way there's a bit of privacy for the patient, like
Correct.
even that type of stuff.
Yes. And where does that data
Okay.
go and where does it reside and how long does it reside there? So there's all these types of things
Oh,
tied to that data that they're collecting. Um, so I think,
okay.
yeah, the
And
other area
then,
there is, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I saw he
no,
asked
it's
another
okay.
question.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say is, so right now, Judy, I mean, it's on the computer, right? So,
Mhm.
Ju- Judy, the great all-knowing AI that's going to rule the world, is on the computer, which tells me that she may or may not be able to see everything on my computer.
Nope. So she does not, your passwords do not come back to Adea. They're encrypted on the system. It's a certificate between us and that system for her to do that initial engagement on login. When it comes to what are you downloading or what's on your hard drive or any sites that you're going to, no, she does not bring that back to Adea. No, that does not go into the dashboard where the champion can see it. What she's looking at is she's scanning URLs. She'll block them at your system. She doesn't bring that back. What's on your system, we don't bring that back. So she'll scan your hard drive and show you documents that might have a malware or something attached to it. If it needs to be remediated, then yes, at that time, you as the user on that system would allow your MSP to RMM in or our Judy Blue team with the partner, and we would have to look at that document and figure out how to remove that malicious attack or tell you to just delete it and go get another document. But we're not,
Mhm.
we're very, very careful about this on privacy and how we ensure that you're getting security, but it doesn't feel like Big Brother. So, no, we don't
Got it.
have a way of seeing what's going on in your system unless you click with an MSP, an RMM product, and share your screen. All Judy's doing is scanning, notifying you, stopping things. And on the remediation piece, it's just going to come back and say a Word doc with the name of blah, 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 blah is showing that it has a malware. Again, it's not bringing the document back, it's bringing the notification through the log. And then it would require someone to action on it if necessary. So, the only thing she's grabbing is your system VIN number, your IP address, and the actual OS and the software that's and make version of that so that we can make sure that you're up to date, that you have the most. I mean, my God, Google's got hot fixes every every week all of a sudden on their Chrome browser because there's so many vulnerabilities. So
Mhm.
that's all we see. The next one I think our awesome security team told us last night is make sure we're on 889.129. Something something something. That's all we see. And go from there. I guess.
Now you said that privacy is very important, so that's you don't read any of our stuff, but Facebook says that they don't listen to our microphone, but when I have a conversation with my wife about, hey, I'm thinking about getting one of these things,
Right.
and then Facebook starts showing me ads for one of those things, it's hard for me to trust vendors because
Understood.
I've been burned by so many vendors. So how do we know that you don't have access and don't like peruse our data?
I mean, it says it in our terms and conditions. We're not bringing any data back. We're not
Okay.
listening in, which is what Facebook is doing on different devices. Maybe for you, we might turn Judy on and have her mess with you when you're not looking. But
won't do
in
it.
general, as she takes over the world, we're just going to have her toy with Steve. I'm joking. She's not listening and pulling in. You have to do a voice command for Judy to engage with you. And then behind the scenes, again, all that technical stuff that we talked about, she's not pulling that to get information for us to sell. That's not what we're in the business for. It's the kiss of death in cybersecurity. If you ever did something like some of the companies you mentioned, that's not a security company. So yes, other marketing companies do actually do what you described because they intend to make revenue and sell the information. That does not happen in cybersecurity. They wouldn't last long as a company.
And then you also said that like my password vault lives on my computer.
It does.
So what happens if, and I won't say I get a virus and have to reload because Judy's going to keep me safe. So what happens if I just keep installing more and more applications on my Mac like an a-hole, and I just want to wipe and reload everything? Do I lose all the passwords in the vault? How's that work?
Yeah, so if you think you're going to wipe everything out, we intentionally tell you to download the file into a CSV file so that you have it. Once you've wiped everything out, yes, everything's gone. That's intended. We're a security company. We're not going to cache it. We're not going to do all the things that could lead to you having a catastrophic breach. When you log back in, Judy will ask you, do you want your file? Do you want to load a file? You would upload your password file again, and it would all be there within minutes. So that's intentional because you don't want to bring passwords back to our cloud. That's a horrible design. You have them encrypted on the endpoint. So even if we arm them in, we can't see your passwords. No one can. It is in the vault in a way that it can only be seen when you export it, and then you have to import them again.
So, and when we export it as a CSV, are the passwords plain text or are they hashed somehow?
They're hashed.
Excellent. And is it like, how easy would it be for some hacker, secure software engineer, whatever, to reverse engineer the hash?
Oh God, it would take a very long time, but I'm not going to say nothing's possible. If there's a catastrophic failure of the computer, then yes, it would, we'd have to work with the client to see if we can resolve it. But
so backups are essential because And okay, so let's say I have a data only backup. I don't have like a BDR. There's nothing I can like spin up. Where is the like Judy vault for the passwords? Is it like in my documents somewhere, or is it in a subfolder of a subfolder of a?
It's in a subfolder that's sitting on your system. Yeah.
So then, best practice would be we need to know where that folder is so that way we can add that to the backup, because maybe we're only backing up like documents, favorites, that type of thing.
It'll be a folder that clearly states what it is and it's encrypted, but yes, you'll be able to see that. So are you going to ask Brett any other questions? Like, I mean, I'm joking. Did you forget about Brett?
Well, I mean, he can answer. I just have so many technical questions.
Brett, are you still there? I think he fell asleep because we're ignoring him.
No, the best part is like I can see all these little screens down at the bottom, so I just see him like I just assume he's doing this because like I just see like every now and then he opens up Judy and then closes it again and then like.
There you go. Brett, are you there? Give me a lifeline here.
So. Oh, you guys are doing just fine. It's
He's like, I don't want to take Steve's bullets. Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm okay getting paid for this. Like, all right. So let's see. When the mobile app launches, will that be a password vault on the mobile?
Yeah, and it will actually allow you to take the passwords and log them into whichever browser you use.
So I'm an iPhone guy. So right now I use LastPass and I love it. And it's very difficult. Like I just installed Judy on my computer, and it's really difficult for me because I'm also a Safari guy.
Okay.
So I need to kind of break that habit and start using Chrome, just
Hmm.
so that way I can start playing with the password vault. When the mobile app launches, is it going to integrate the same way LastPass does, where I can go through the system settings, add Judy as one of the vaults of passwords that it can obtain passwords from and autofill?
What's ever on your desktop, the minute you log in, will be there immediately when you log into the mobile app. So it'll be categorized the same way as on your desktop. She sets everything is literally it's syncing with each other real time.
Okay.
So there's no heavy lift for you to do anything. If you want something changed, your desktop is the driver of what it looks
Okay.
like in your mobile. And so you might have 6 different categories like we talked about. The minute you log into the mobile app for the first time, they'll all be there. And so will all of your logins, your passwords, everything. And all you have to do is click go, and it'll take you into the browser and autofill. And then some instances on different websites, regardless if it's the desktop or the mobile, you have to what do you call it? You still might have to enter. You can change things in the mobile. Good question, Shiva. And it'll sync back to the desktop. So you can edit things. The two sync with each other, but you asked when you initiate what's it pulling from. It's what's in your vault on your desktop. But they always stay in sync. So if you edit on your phone, yes, it'll go back to the desktop version as well.
Okay. And what if it is a true desktop computer, so it's not mobile like a laptop, and I make changes and I'm on a different city on a different network? Does it wait to sync when I get back into the local network? It syncs over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going on someone's cloud.
Well, yeah, everyone is.
You're just not storing it. You're just not storing it in the.
Storing it. Correct. Your certificate goes back to the cloud, and we see that it's you, and then it would sync between the systems. Literally milliseconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have to deal with firewalls, port forwarding, hitting a button in one system to manually sync it to another.
Nope.
It all just kind of seamlessly will work.
It does it for you. It takes literally a couple seconds, but yes, you would then see it on when you log into your mobile or vice versa. You have to re-log in once you've done it because you're connecting again. But yeah, you'll see the changes.
Okay. Now, okay, so here's a good question. So if you're familiar with Keeper, why not store the passwords and implement a zero knowledge architecture? That way, when my hardware dies, my hard drive crashes, and I can't just make it a CSV export. And I'm a shitty MSP, so I don't have backups either.
Okay, we're heading there. Brett, you want to take it over? This is the design we're going live with. What you and Siva are describing is where we're headed. It's just not going to be in this first phase. So if you look at us in Q3, that's where we're starting to get into that 2-factor zero trust architecture that would start to enable things more like some of the other brands out there.
Wow, I don't even know what Yates just said.
If we're starting happy hour, then just tell me.
It is way too early for this, Yates.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool things coming in our roadmap. By the end of the year, you will absolutely continue to see us redesign and move towards that model. Of some of those more enterprise designs. It's just not in this first rev.
All right. Brett, is there anything else that you want to share with the people, with the masses?
Yeah, we're like I said earlier, we're eager to link arms, and do what needs to be done. Upon signing a partnership, whether you go the consultant route, the provider route, or the custom route, you'll immediately be introduced to our marketing team, Melissa. You'll be immediately introduced to our director of customer success. If I do know it's a video webcast, but
yes, we're having some camera issues, so
I apologize for that.
Yeah, but feel free to pick on Brett or Steve. I fully support it. So yes, go.
Yeah, as long as you don't pick on him. Oh boy! All right. Well, so just to recap, Shiva, I think you might have popped in late. So we shared the screen as far as this is what the password vault looks like, how it works, how it stores a password. I would like to see that, like, I'm going to say integrated more into the browser in the future.
Yep.
To where we don't have to open the password vault to store an update. I would love if that were just in the browser,
That's next quarter.
Like the other ones. Yeah, but and I'm sure some of this stuff is already planned out, but I figure if I say it, then it will remind you to tell us when it's coming.
Yep.
We looked at what the back end SIM shows, and we were even able to see that, like, in the last 24 hours, a bunch of files were deleted, and there were more files deleted than normal. So, is this something that we need to correlate with an issue, or is it just, we deleted a bunch of files? We were also able to see that Judy is also able to be a kind of a personal assistant, though I will give you a hard time again, guys, that when I go into Judy and I ask her questions, it doesn't actually provide helpful information. I might just need a computer reboot, though. Who knows? I've got like 96 icons up in my Mac menu bar, so I'm sure it's nothing I've done.
We would never say that because we really like you. So, yeah. And again, her knowledge base and her questions are continuing to grow each month. So yes, she's always machine learning, and we will continue to add more.
The interesting part is I asked her, how do I take a screenshot on a Mac? And she responded with, I found this on the internet, something about an article, and then there was nothing for me to click on or view. So that's what I meant by it wasn't helpful. But again, I think it's probably more an issue of my own creation than an issue with Judy.
Go ahead. I think there was one more question up above that we missed. And now I can't find it. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a password manager installed for my clients, and a couple of them are still using the browser. They complain of me clearing passwords, so I've got to do something to correct that, and this might be the best way about it. They're not to the level that they need to be.
Right. So if you clear your browser when you're having to do all these updates now from Google, and it clears all of your saved passwords. So
are you serious?
Mm-hmm. You have to, in some instances, depending on how big of a patch it is, that's what he's describing. So yes, Judy takes that away because it's now in the vault, and then your single sign-on is sitting there the next time you log back in. So there's no need to worry about clearing your cache to do these security updates.
Excellent. Let's see. What else did we talk about? We talked, I thought, pretty in depth with how the compliance works, and it's not just compliance for what we as the IT professionals are doing, but it's compliance for what the client needs to be doing. So there are things that the CEO or the accountant or the lawyer need to answer that we can't answer because it has nothing to do with us or IT. but it's a very comprehensive like audit checklist, the same type of audit checklist that the auditor would be using. And I suspect that when and if those audits get updated by whoever's in charge of the HIPAA and all that stuff, you would then update the checklist as well.
Correct. Yep. And I think the last thing that some of the partners that joined last time were asking about, antivirus will do a full scan and quarantine. The EDR piece with all of the rule sets for remediation go live next month. So we're still on track for that from our last call.
That's so awesome. And then we also talked about pricing in depth, and we were able to clarify on how everything works, whether you want to be a referral partner, a reseller, or even if you want to set up a customer partner program between Aadya and your company.
Yep, absolutely. So I think the only thing we haven't done is shared Brett's email address with everyone, which we did last time. So it won't let me comment, so I don't know why, but if you want to.
What is Brett's email address?
Brett's email address is going to be first initial B and then my last name, MCCARREY, at AadyaSecurity.com.
There it is, scrolling along the bottom there.
Yeah, so for those
and
partners
then I'll
that
even
up above said they wanted to connect with us and get going on the program, just email Brett and we'll get you the information over. Love to have you join.
Awesome. And then when I look at your website, I don't see anything about a partner program.
Yep.
Am I missing it?
Nope. Melissa's building it, and it will be live next month. So it'll have all of the program details there, as well as a form to fill out if you want to connect with us. But for now, just email me or Brett, and we'll get you connected.
And then I have one final dumb question. What exactly is this? Because I have an assumption of what certified LGBT means, but what is it?
We're certified as a gay-owned company, so that's one of the certifications with the federal government. So we can actually work with the federal government on different contracts, as well as their providers. We did that, so if you have any partners out there that are LGBTQ as well, they can leverage our connection through the federal government and help with small business contracts.
That is really cool.
Yep. And so we got some other cool certifications for our team, and then as well as the cyber exchange, which we mentioned last time, that allows our product to be out there with Aptiga.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. All right. Well, Brett, any last anything?
The one thing I'd like to add, just to kind of to close out the conversation, huge proponents of value-based, and not just for the customer, but morally and ethically. I had a conversation with a partner earlier in the week where, not only are we talking about how we can help him grow his business and pass this value on to his customers, but also looking at different types of volunteering, mentorship opportunities. We have programs in place here at Aadya where we return a portion of our revenue back to food banks, depending on locations. If that's something that your MSP is interested in, we are all for supporting that side too.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so we just tell everyone, we obviously would love to have you as partners. At a minimum, follow our website on LinkedIn, and you'll see all of our updates, our accounting Aadya page. So
awesome.
Well, thank you for having us. Fun
Absolutely,
as always.
And I can't wait to have you guys back in a month, couple months. Whenever you guys make some updates, I'd love to help you show them off to the community. So yeah, anytime you guys have something cool to show us, you know how to
Absolutely.
reach me.
We'll let you know, and we'll make sure we get the demo ready. So thank you for having us.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And thank you guys for watching. I have another episode coming out in literally an hour and 20 minutes. So watch that. I'm going to be sitting down with Justin Esker. He is an MSP business owner, and he's just, got some cool experiences I'm going to talk about. So thanks, everyone, and I will see you guys at the next episode.
Thank you.
Have you been looking for a way to stay focused on your goals and grow your MSP? Accountability groups from RocketMSP can help. We offer weekly accountability sessions that meet online with a group of your peers. Your success begins with accountability. Go to www.rocketmsp.io to join your accountability group today.